Alright, what's going on YouTube? This is BoxingWave. Alright, got a lot to talk about in this video. Okay, this is going to be a pretty lengthy video. So relax. Hopefully you could get through all of this at one time. But you know, some of you guys that subscribe to me like when I do the lengthier videos, okay? So hopefully I get to remember everything because I do everything on one take, and you know, sometimes I forget some of the topics I want to bring up. Alright, so this video here is going to be about Floyd Mayweather and Gennady Golovkin. There's been a lot of talk about those two, with Floyd maybe returning, fighting Danny Garcia. Floyd made some comments about him possibly, what would happen if he were to fight Golovkin. He did acknowledge the size difference, but he said that, you know, if they were to fight, you know, he feels that it would be easy work, and that he doesn't see any special effects with Gennady Golovkin, okay? And it has a lot of people talking. You know, there's a lot of Floyd supporters that believe Floyd would win the fight, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's all opinions. As long as they don't actually fight, we can sit here and argue back and forth, go back and forth all day about who would win that fight. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know, whichever way you go with it. Okay, but I want to bring up some points here that I haven't really heard too many people bring up. And I'm going to actually respond to a couple people that I've heard make points on YouTube, okay? Or some of the fans that I've seen left in comments, that leave comments about this possible fight, you know, and some of the things I've seen on Twitter as well, all right? All right. Now, the one thing that people bring up when they're discussing this fight is the weight. What weight will it be at, okay? How the fight would go if they were to fight at 160 or 154. Me personally, I think if Floyd were to ever, like, really fight Gennady Golovkin, he would do it at 152, okay? The same weight that he made Canelo come down to fight him, okay? Even though Floyd has fought at 154, he's been a champion at 154. He's won fights without asking for catchweights at 154. He made Canelo come down to 152 to fight him. Okay? Now, as far as Gennady Golovkin, all right, this is how I feel. I think that Floyd Mayweather will lose against Gennady Golovkin at 160, whether it's by knockout, whether it's by decision. I don't think Floyd can beat Golovkin at 160. Okay? Floyd goes up and fight him at 160, he loses, all right? Probably by knockout, all right? That's my personal opinion. I'll explain why later, okay? At 154, I don't know where the fight would go, okay? I think Floyd has a good chance of winning the fight at 154. Why? Because Gennady Golovkin, I've never seen him fight at 154, okay? He hasn't fought professionally at 154, okay? I don't think he would be the same fighter at 154, all right? Even though he would come down to fight for Floyd at 154, I don't think he would be the same fighter. You'd be at a disadvantage, especially if it's even lower than 154, which I think it would be. Why I think that? Well, if he was willing to make a guy that was fighting at 154 come down to 152 because of whatever reason, I think he would make Golovkin fight at that very same weight. Try to get it as low as possible, okay? Because, you know, I'm not trying to take any of the credibility away from the Canelo win, you know, because I personally believe whether Floyd fought Canelo at 154 or even at 160, you know, where Canelo should be fighting, 154, Canelo weight at 155, Floyd would have won that fight because Canelo, to me, is just not on Floyd's level, okay? Canelo's a boxer that is skilled, but I think Floyd is just much more skilled than Canelo, all right? But the problem with that fight, and it was a great win, was that it was at a catchweight at 152, okay? You're fighting at 154. You fought at 154. You beaten guys at 154 with no catchweight, Cotto and De La Hoya. Okay, you beat those guys at 154. I don't believe Cotto was a catchweight, but correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, but you asked Canelo to come down. All right. This is why I dislike catchweights. Okay, because when you fight a guy at a catchweight, you're basically saying I'll fight you, but we need some kind of handicap because I'm not quite sure if I can beat you at your best. Okay? I know you guys are not going to like the way I word that, but there's no other reason why you would ask for a catchweight. Okay? Everyone does it. Everyone does it. Okay? Adrian Broner won a title at 147. Okay? Came back down to 140 for a couple fights. But he makes Sean Porter, a guy that's fighting at 147, come down and fight him at a catchweight. Okay? He knows Porter's the naturally bigger guy, even though he's fighting at 147. You know, you're bragging and boasting on how you can beat him, but you want him to come down. Even though you already won a title at that division that Porter is fighting in, you want him to come down and weight. Okay? Everyone does it. Pacquiao did it. Okay? He did it against Cotto. Okay? He did it against De La Hoya. All right? Made De La Hoya come down to 147. All right? Cotto has done it. Canelo has done it. Okay? Gennady Golovkin has done it. All right? Not in the actual fight, but he said in order to fight Andre Ward, you fight at 168, come down to 164, you know, and I'll fight you. You know, I'm not saying that it's unfair. What I'm saying is the guy was willing to go to 168 to fight Froch, to fight DeGale, or fight Chavez Jr., but when it came to Andre Ward, he wanted Ward to come down to fight 164. Not trying to be unfair here. Everybody, I'm only naming all these people because I don't want you guys to come on here and say, yeah, but such and such did it too. Such and such did it too. I know already. I know. All of these guys that are big, they like to have the catchweights. Okay? The bigger name fighters, you know, even when they're fighting in the same division as certain fighters, or won titles in the same division as certain fighters, they want that fighter to come down and wait. Okay? So, with that being said, all right, the reason why I think Floyd would lose to Golovkin at 160 is because even though I think Floyd is the better boxer between the two, the gap between the skill set is not that far. Not far to a point where Floyd's boxing ability is going to be enough to win the fight. The size is too much of a difference. Jumping up 2 divisions. I know Floyd has beaten bigger fighters before, but these bigger fighters are not Gennady Golovkin. Okay? This is a difference. He's fought bigger fighters, especially him coming up in weight. He's fought bigger fighters, yes. Okay? But Gennady Golovkin is not the same guy. And I feel like the gap in talent is really not that far off for Floyd to have that much of a boxing ability advantage over Gennady Golovkin. Gennady Golovkin's size will be a big impact in that fight. Now, if Golovkin were to fight at, 154, I don't know. I never seen him fight at 154. So I can't tell you. All I know is that Golovkin won't be as good. He won't be. Because he hasn't fought at that weight since he's been a professional fighter. And when Golovkin said that he'll fight from anyone at 154 to 168, I think he meant specifically Floyd Mayweather when he said 154. Not Canelo Alvarez, not Miguel Cotto, not these guys that's campaigning at 160 wanting him to come down. No, Floyd Mayweather, I will come down and fight you. Okay? So, with that being said, I was watching a video this morning, with Dante's Boxing Nation. Shout out to him. Great channel. Been subscribed to him for almost as long as I've had a channel on YouTube, okay? He made a video about Floyd Mayweather and Gennady Golovkin, all right? It wasn't a bad video, but he made a point that I totally disagree with. I mean, totally disagree with. And the point he was trying to make is that if Floyd Mayweather were to fight as a middleweight, let's say Floyd Mayweather was a middleweight, okay? Floyd Mayweather is who he is today. He's still undefeated. He's 49-0. He's beaten all these good fighters. and Gennady Golovkin is at middleweight with him. Would Gennady Golovkin be in a rush to fight Floyd Mayweather? Okay? This is why he won it. This is why he was trying to imply that he won it. Because he said fighters like Erislandy Lara, he didn't fight. Andre Ward, he didn't fight. And James DeGale. 3 other fighters that's not in his division. First of all, that's the first point reason why I disagree. Okay? Those guys are not even in the same division. So you're comparing someone that's in the division against someone that's not in the division. 3 fighters. So that's the first problem I had with that comparison. The second problem I had with that comparison is that those 3 fighters are not Floyd Mayweather. Okay, if Floyd Mayweather was fighting at middleweight, right? If he's fighting at middleweight, that means he's the top dog at middleweight. Okay, Gennady Golovkin would have to fight that guy to beat the top dog at middleweight. All right. Most people now consider Gennady Golovkin to be the best fighter at middleweight. You know, I'm assuming that if Floyd was fighting at middleweight, like he's fighting at 147, he would have already cleared out the majority of the top fighters at middleweight. Okay, Floyd Mayweather would still be the superstar he is today. Okay, he is the cash cow of today. Okay, of this era. Okay, he is the pay-per-view star of today. All right. Everyone wants to go in the ring with Floyd Mayweather. Any fighter would move up from whatever division or move down from whatever division to fight Floyd Mayweather. If Floyd Mayweather says, I'll fight you, but you have to come down to fight me at 160, they're going to do it. Okay? If anyone wants to fight Floyd Mayweather from a lower division, Marquez, they will move up to fight Floyd Mayweather. Okay? Any fighter in boxing today, if there was an opportunity to fight Floyd Mayweather, they would do it. I believe Kovalev, if he said, Kovalev, I'll fight you at 147, I'll fight you, but you have to come down, I'll fight you at 160. If you can make 160, I'll fight you, Kovalev. Floyd at 147 will probably fight Kovalev at 160. You know, Kovalev would take the challenge. I'm not saying Floyd would do it, but Kovalev would take that challenge because it's Floyd Mayweather. It's a bad comparison because Andre Ward ain't Floyd Mayweather. Okay? James DeGale is not Floyd Mayweather. Erislandy Lara is not Floyd Mayweather. I'm not even going to get into the whole mix with Erislandy Lara and James DeGale. Right? James DeGale, they said that they were interested in fighting him already. And Erislandy Lara, as much as Lara probably really feels he could beat Golovkin, all right, there's no doubt in my mind that Lara thinks he could beat Golovkin because Lara thinks he could beat everyone. That's just him. I don't think his team wants that fight. I don't believe that there was any offers sent to Gennady Golovkin. All right, Erislandy Lara calling Golovkin out is not the same thing as his team sending an offer to Golovkin and Golovkin's team turning it down. Okay, so it's not the same thing. But we're not talking about that right now. What we're talking about is comparing those 3 fighters to Floyd Mayweather. There's no comparison because unlike Floyd, guys like Andre Ward, high risk, low reward. James DeGale, high risk, low reward. Erislandy Lara, high risk, low reward. No one wants to fight them in their respected division. Okay? No one really wants to fight them. All right? So, with that being said, can you compare those 3 guys to Floyd Mayweather? No. Floyd Mayweather, you're going to get the highest payday that you're ever going to get. And even if you lose to Floyd Mayweather, you can still have a career. That's been proven countless times. There's plenty of boxers that have lost to Floyd Mayweather that's went on and done good things. Okay? Maybe not plenty, but it's more than enough. You know, it's not like you losing to Floyd is a big deal. You can lose to Floyd and you can still be Robert Guerrero out here fighting on top guys at 147. You can still be Canelo Alvarez getting pay-per-views because you fought Floyd Mayweather. This is what happens when you fight Floyd. You know, the opportunities come. If you maintain your a good boxing career, the opportunities will come. Andre Ward, what happens when you lose to Andre Ward? You know, Andre Ward, you're not getting the highest payday. There's guys that's fighting on the PBC now that's getting higher paydays, and they're not even that good than the fighters that Andre Ward is facing. Andre Ward ain't selling out arenas. You know, I mean, James DeGale ain't selling out. James DeGale ain't even having fights at home. You know, he's going to other people's countries and beating them. All right, Erislandy Lara came to sell out Miami. And I love these guys. I love these guys. It's just that I'm keeping it real here. Erislandy Lara is not selling out anything. He's not. You know, I want to see the fight, but he's not selling out anything. You know? With these guys, it's high risk, low reward. Not the same with Floyd. Floyd is high risk, high reward. You're going to get rewarded regardless, even if you lose. Everybody's lost against him. All right? So, you know, I mean, even Pacquiao, I mean, even De La Hoya still fought Pacquiao after he lost to Floyd. You know what I'm saying? It's like, there's no way you could make that comparison. And it's a very unfair comparison. There's no way you can make that comparison, you know? So if Floyd Mayweather was at 160, Gennady Golovkin would be trying to fight him. I don't think he would win if Floyd was at 160. No, he wouldn't win because, you know, I still think Floyd is the better boxer, you know, in my opinion. Floyd's a better boxer than Gennady Golovkin. And he would be able to outbox him, and size wouldn't be as much of a factor because he would be able to take the punches. If, you know, when they do land, if they land, he would be able to take them better than he would at 147. At 147, can he withstand a clean blow from Gennady Golovkin? Multiple clean blows? I mean, unless Floyd were to fight a perfect fight, do you think Floyd at 39 could fight a perfect fight against Gennady Golovkin? You remember the body shot Golovkin landed against Matthew Macklin? You think Floyd can take a shot like that? That left hook to the body? Hell no. Hell no. So this is why I don't think Floyd will win that fight. If you think he does, that's cool. That's your opinion. But let me tell you who think they not, or who, let me tell you who is not too sure if they can win that fight at 160. Floyd Mayweather. Because Floyd Mayweather would make him come down and drain him. You think Floyd or his team think they could go up to 160 and fight Golovkin at his best? Of course not. Because if that was the case, they would have fought Canelo, a guy that I think is an easier fight to win, at 154. They didn't even fight Canelo at 154. They're not going to fight Golovkin at 160. You know? And Canelo and Golovkin is probably the same size walking around. They probably walk around at the same size. Canelo might even be a tad bit heavier because he's a chubbier guy. So, I don't get what, you know, it's like, it's nothing wrong with thinking that Floyd would win the fight. I know Floyd has won fights with bigger guys that were bigger punchers, but Golovkin is a boxer, you know, and he's a good boxer. He's a damn good boxer, okay? And when the gap is not that wide, you have a problem because Floyd is going up to fight a much bigger guy that's a good boxer too, all right? When Bernard Hopkins said, I'll come down to 160 and fight Floyd, or better yet, when Andre Ward said he'll come down to 160. Now, I don't know if Andre Ward would have been healthy that fight, but if he were to fight Andre, if Floyd from 147 would go up and fight Andre Ward at 160, I'm not sure if Floyd Mayweather could win that fight. You know why? Because the talent gap is not that wide. It's not that wide. Andre Ward might be as good or Floyd Mayweather is barely better as a boxer than Andre Ward. Barely. If that. If he is better, the gap is not wide at all. You know? This is why I'm saying size at some point is going to be a huge factor. See, it's different when you're fighting a bigger guy and he's not that good. You know, when you're fighting a guy that, you know, when you fight Oscar De La Hoya, who really wasn't that much of a bigger guy. You're going up to 154 and you're fighting De La Hoya. But De La Hoya fought at 147. You know, it's not like he's pretty much the same damn thing. You know, I know Hoya, I know De La Hoya went up to 160, but look what happened when he went to 160. Did he look good at 160? No. De La Hoya did not look good at 160. He fought Felix Sturm. A lot of people thought Sturm won that fight. Okay? That fight, I saw that fight. People think Sturm won that fight. You know? De La Hoya looked small at 160. And then when he got in there with Bernard Hopkins, look what happened. Look what happened. The gap in talent is not much different. You fighting Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins lost to Chad Dawson. Bernard Hopkins lost to Jermaine Taylor. Not historically great fighters, but they were good enough to beat Bernard Hopkins. But if you're a smaller guy that's going up to fight Bernard Hopkins, you're going to have a problem. You're going to have a problem. It's not so simple when you're going up and fighting bigger guys. So that's why I feel like Floyd would lose the fight at 160. And as far as the credibility of the fight, if he were to make Golovkin come down 152, I mean, it's a good win, but historically, it's not a great win because you made him come down in weight. It's good that he beat Canelo, but he made him come down in weight. Canelo didn't look great at that weigh-in. You made him come down. And Floyd would have beat him at 154. I wish Floyd just fought him at 154. I wish he did. He might as well. Canelo's just too slow. He's too slow. Golovkin is a better boxer than Canelo, in my opinion. He's a better boxer than Canelo. And he punches harder. Okay? And his stamina is he could fight 12 rounds the same way. See, that's the thing about this is why I think Golovkin is so dangerous. Because there's not a blueprint on how to beat him yet. Not for 12 rounds. Okay? I made a video recently talking about Billy Joe Saunders. Now, I think Billy Joe Saunders has the skill set to outbox. Maybe I wouldn't say outbox, but at least do well against Golovkin. All right, he can at least at minimum win rounds against Golovkin. But can he sustain that? Can he maintain that for 12 whole rounds? No, he can't. Floyd could go in there looking good like first couple of rounds, yeah, but how are you going to keep it going for 12 rounds? At 39 years old. How are you going to do it? How are you going to do it? I think Floyd would have a better chance, obviously, if he was a little younger. The reflexes was much more fresh, and the reflexes are still there. The reflexes are still good. Even with Andre Berto, I know that's just Andre Berto, but, he looked good against Berto. He was slipping his punches. He was looking good in there. For a guy that's that age, he looked good, but let's be real here. That's Andre Berto. Golovkin is going to be cutting that ring off on you. You're not going to be able to move like you did against Maidana in that rematch. You see the difference in that fight. Maidana was, Floyd stayed in front of Maidana in the first fight. Whereas the second fight, he said, no, I'm going to outbox you from the very beginning of this fight. This is going to be a rangy fight, and we're going to keep it that way for the entire match. Now, remember that, what was it, the fifth round or fifth round at the end when Maidana hit Floyd with that clean shot that rocked him? What if Golovkin landed that shot? You think Floyd would have flew out of the ring? He can't take a blow from Golovkin at 160. Are you crazy? That's just my opinion, though. All right. Another thing I want to just bring up, because I don't want you guys to feel like I'm some kind of Golovkin nut hugger. All right, but I've said this before. There's other fighters even at 154. If we don't even go to 160, because there's guys at Floyd at 160 that I think Floyd can beat. He would beat Daniel Gill at 160. He would beat Rubio at 160. Okay. Lemieux, I don't really know. Lemieux is wild, he's just going to keep coming, it's going to be hard with him. All right, I know Golovkin made it look easy, but it would be harder for guys at 147 to beat a David Lemieux, because Lemieux is not going to respect Floyd's power like he did Golovkin's. It took a Golovkin, it needed to take a guy like a Golovkin to beat Lemieux, a good boxer with a hell of a lot of power. A guy that people said that sparred with both Kovalev and Golovkin, say Golovkin hit harder than Kovalev at 175. And we see what Kovalev is doing to guys at 175. You know? So I'm sure Golovkin got some serious power. And he got boxing skills to go with it. You know? But this guy's at 154. If Floyd were to fight today, all right, I'm not so sure how he's going to look against Jamal Charlo. Jamal Charlo is at 154, but he's clearly a 160. He's a huge 154 pounder. Huge. All right? That's one guy that's going to get in the ring with Canelo and make Canelo look small. And probably be able to outbox Canelo too. Canelo ain't fighting that guy. You know, this why do you think Cotto is trying to set up a match between him and Marquez and all these other welterweights? Who's the other guy? Marquez and Provodnikov. Cotto don't want no problems with those guys at 154. If J Rock fought Floyd Mayweather right now, you think it'll be an easy fight for Floyd? I'm not saying that Floyd can't win, but at 39 years old, if he were to fight J Rock Williams, come on, Demetrius Andrade, Erislandy Lara, what would happen if those? You take the Charlos, you take the Charlos, you take J Rock, you take Andrade, you take Lara. Shit, you taking Vanis Martirosyan. If they got in the ring with Andre Berto, they would have all stopped Andre Berto. There's a good chance. You know? There's a good chance those guys would have stopped Andre Berto. Or at least been more dominant than Floyd was. Okay? And Floyd was dominant. So, what I'm saying to you is, if Floyd were to fight those guys, you know, some of those guys I just named at 154, it would be a tough fight for him. Because you're going up, you're fighting guys that are good boxers. And they're bigger than you. You know? They're bigger than you. Those are all dangerous fights. They're bigger than you. You know? If you fight Golovkin, the guy's a good boxer, and he's bigger than you, and he punches extremely hard. He got one-punch knockout power at 160. So if you fight him, you know, you see what he did to Boutte in the amateurs. If you fight him and you're coming up for 147, you can't be taking no punches from him. You take that shot that you took for Shane Mosley. You take that shot you took for Marcus Maidana. You was hurt bad, but you hung on. You know, it is what it is. You hung on with Shane, and Maidana's shot was at the end of the round. Thank God you couldn't find your damn stool. Let's be real. You know, Floyd takes punches too. He's a defensive genius, but let's not act like he don't get hit. You think he wouldn't get hit against Gennady Golovkin? Come on. You know? If he fought Andre Ward at a bigger weight, you think he could just beat Andre Ward? Like outbox him? Yeah, he's a better boxer, but he's not that much of a better boxer than Andre Ward. He's not that much a better boxer than Bernard Hopkins. You know? You know, like, this is what I'm saying, you know? I mean, if De La Hoya fought Hopkins, if Hopkins was at 147 and De La Hoya was then the size wouldn't be the factor, I think De La Hoya is more closer to prime, probably had a good chance of beating Bernard Hopkins. You know, he could have beaten Bernard Hopkins. Well, that's debatable. That's a debatable fight. But let's not act like Hopkins just beat everybody. You know, Hopkins lost a lot of fights too. You know, and he didn't fight, and he lost fights to people that weren't great. So, you know, I'm just giving you as many examples as I can. You know, I just think people need to be aware of the catchweight and why they are there. Okay, they're there because the fighter or that fighter's team don't believe that they can beat that other fighter at their full weight, which is their best. So this is why you ask for the handicap. Okay. So as far as it being easy work, no, I don't agree with it. You know, I don't agree with that. This is why the catchweight is there. Would Floyd get credit for it? Yeah, he would get credit. You know, for people that say that Floyd don't get credit, Floyd gets plenty of credit for his wins. Okay? I know there's a lot of haters out there. You ignore the haters. Like, ignore the people that just dislike Floyd. There's people that hate Floyd. No matter what he do, they're never going to give him credit. Okay? There's plenty of people out there. Plenty of them. But does he get credit? Yeah. He's getting paid lovely for it. All right? If they didn't respect his wins, he wouldn't get paid the way he do. He wouldn't be the celebrity that he is. People are still paying money to watch this guy fight. And if he fights, coming back and fights Danny Garcia, he's going to get paid to fight Danny Garcia. And people are going to watch it because people want to see him fight. People say he's boring, he runs, he hugs, but they watch the fight. When I don't like a fighter, I don't watch the fight. Or I watch it when I have to do a video on it, It's different from when I have a channel, so I have to talk boxing. I have to watch fights that I don't really want to see, But, as boxing fans, if you're not a fan of the guy, why are you watching him fight? If you think he's boring, why are you watching the fight? So anyway, I just wanted to bring up those points. You got to look at the weight thing. I think the catch weights, people ask for them. They ask for them for a reason. You can never forget that. People are going to criticize Floyd if he were to beat Golovkin at a catch weight. It's going to happen. It's a good win. But, the catch weight is an issue, especially when the guy hasn't fought at that catch weight that you're asking for. If he's not fighting at that catch weight, it wasn't so bad for Canelo because Canelo didn't move up, all right, in his career, all right? He started really young, but he didn't move up. So he still gets a lot of good credit for that. But if Golovkin were to come down to like 152 to fight Floyd Mayweather, or even 154, if he were to come down and fight Floyd at that weight, a lot of people will criticize Floyd for doing it, especially if he wins the fight, because we know that Gennady Golovkin is not fighting at that weight. He's never been fighting at that weight, just like Andre Ward. If Andre Ward were to come down and fight Golovkin at 164 right now, I wouldn't even want that fight because Andre Ward probably can't fight at that weight anymore, I don't even think he probably couldn't even come down to 160 with Floyd, at least, and be healthy at that time. And that was years ago. Andre Ward did that call out, 5 years ago, maybe? Around after the Super 6 tournament, probably, So, I think people need to acknowledge the weight, the catch weights, and why they're there. And, as far as the comparisons and what Golovkin would do, and, I brought up the whole thing with Dante. I think that was just an unfair comparison, But anyway, that's my thoughts on the whole thing with Golovkin. I do think Floyd has a shot of winning if Golovkin were to fight him at a catchweight. I don't think the fight is going to happen, though. I think it's just another way to keep yourself buzzing. I do think Floyd is going to come back and possibly fight Danny Garcia. I've always thought he was going to come back and fight, but that's just my thoughts. You guys leave comments, and make sure you guys hit subscribe. Peace.